I'm really nervous and stressed out because I want to find the perfect wedding dress. I've changed my eating habits a lot. No junk food, healthy meals only.
I am excited to go shopping for a dress, but I keep telling her it could take some time.
I cannot wait to get married. Fast forward to April 28th, 2019. Chase and I are at my parents' house and we're having dinner.
Kayla is really watching her weight, but I have been noticing some swelling in her feet.
Right now, Kayla's ankles are more swollen than I've ever seen.
I asked Kayla what was wrong, and she said that she is on her period. I've been a nurse for 34 years. I'm very concerned because I know this is not period bloating.
She definitely needs to get into the doctor and find out what's going on.
I think he's overreacting, and I'll just deal with it tomorrow. I'm back home from dinner at my parents' house, and things are just not right. These cramps that I'm having are miserable. I'm really heavy bleeding. I'm used to getting cramps during my period, but these cramps are just intensified by a million. I feel like somebody tied a knot around my uterus and is just constantly stomping on it.
Kayla's the type of person who could lose an arm and she'd tell me just to put it on ice. So if she's not concerned, I'm not concerned. Cut to about 11:30 at night. I wake up and I hear her crying in the shower, which is not normal. And I say, okay, we're going to the ER.
We're at the hospital. The nurses are giving me morphine to try to ease my pain, but it's not helping. They want to take a blood test to make sure that I'm not pregnant, but I know I'm not. There's no way.
I mean, it breaks my heart to see my daughter in so much pain.
My husband and I jump in the car knowing that we have to get to the hospital as soon as possible. I'm thinking, does she have an ovarian cyst? Does she have ovarian cancer? Just a lot of things going through my head at that time.
The doctor is finally here and said that they got the results for my blood test. The doctor tells me that I'm pregnant. I'm sorry, what? Chase looks like a deer in headlights. I don't even think he's blinking.
I really can't make heads or tails of what's happening, and I'm just completely overwhelmed.
We never wanted to have kids, so neither of us are prepared for this at all. This is really scary. Am I having a miscarriage? Is that why I'm bleeding so bad? I just don't know what to think. They've taken me back to do all of these ultrasound tests to make sure everything's okay, but I hope that they don't tell me that the baby's due in September. That will ruin our wedding plans. The doctor informs us that I am actually in labor and I'm about 37 weeks along. How does this happen? I'm on the pill, I'm getting my period. What if something's wrong with the baby? We just don't know where to go from here.
I'm really concerned about Kayla and the baby, but Chase is not handling this very well.
He's freaking out.
At this point, I'm on the verge of a mental breakdown. And the last thing I want to do is do that in front of Kayla. So I let her know that I love you, but I need to go take a walk. I'm in the parking lot of the hospital. I have no idea what we're gonna do, that we have nothing for a child, and I am crying, pacing like an absolute madman, and my whole life is about to change in the matter of hours.
I am so scared right now. This is crazy, but after 3.5 hours of pushing, our baby is here. Chase, was crying and I was crying. I'm holding my baby girl and the moment is just perfect. There's so many emotions going on. Happy, nervous, scared, because I never saw me being a mom, but she's just changed everything for us.
As panicked as I was, the moment that I see my daughter, my whole mood changed for the better. I all of a sudden felt prepared, even though I knew I wasn't.
After they measured her and weighed her, and then they took her back and did all the tests that they needed to do, it is confirmed our baby girl is in perfect health, and we are so relieved.
This is an absolute miracle. We've been doing a lot of praying, and our prayers were answered.
We're so relieved that everything went perfect, no problems, no issues.
Kayla's a trooper. Her and Chase did a fantastic job, but all the credit goes to Kayla.
We ended up getting married in September. It was a bit of an awkward conversation with the priest, but to have our baby at our wedding was special. I get grief because I didn't cry when I saw my wife, but I did cry when I saw my daughter.
We say this all the time. We love being Gabby's parents. She's ours.
Oh, it's there.
Now that we never wanted to be parents, but we are very proud to be Gabby's parents. And we love being parents so much that I'm pregnant with our second, but I do know this time.
It's February 2022. I was doing all my senior things. I did start getting some weird cravings. When I came home from school, I'll eat Takis, the hot ones, for 2-3 weeks, and then eventually they were making me throw up. But I didn't think much of it. I just figured the nausea was too much snacking. And no signs, no symptoms, no anything. I am having my period regularly, 4 to 5 days every week, like it's always been.
Our periods are aligned with each other, so we knew exactly when my period was, hers was coming out next. I knew she was on her period. I could tell she was on her period. And I'm pretty sure if she was pregnant, I would have known.
We went prom dress shopping. She wanted this specific prom dress.
When I tried my dress on, I fell in love with it. I knew it was for me. It was very tight, very fitting.
It just fit her like a glove.
Oh, it was gorgeous. She had just broken up with her boyfriend, so it was the perfect revenge dress.
Her prom dress was a size 2.
I'm having no symptoms, not gaining weight or anything like that.
I wanted her to have everything out of her senior year because this is it. Then reality sets in and, you have to be an adult. But reality smacked her right in the face very quickly.
So over the summer, I kind of just enjoying my last summer as a teenager, I guess you could say.
So we do a family vacation every year.
We went to 3 different beaches, and me and my sister rode on the tube all summer. We were riding horses and just having a great time.
Summer is definitely her era.
We had taken pictures on the beach. I was the same size I am now.
I was like, dang, her body looks good.
I would literally give my left kidney to look that good in a bathing suit.
We ate, and the food just didn't sit right with me, and I got really bloated. And then we got back to the hotel that night, and a little bit later, I threw up, and then my stomach went back flat.
I was like, Bree, are you okay? Are you good? And I don't know, looking back on it, if it was mom's intuition. We woke up that next morning and we went to the store, and I just kind of skirted by the pregnancy test aisle and I just grabbed one up, and Bree was like, do you think you're having a baby? And I was like, no, we'll talk about it in a minute.
But my mom, being the helicopter mom that she is, she was like, we are going to take a pregnancy test. I just want to be sure. And I was so mad at first, but I did it anyways. We took 2 pregnancy tests, and both of them came back negative.
Okay, great. We can go, we can enjoy our day. I don't have anything to worry about. She's okay.
There's no sign that I'm pregnant. I woke up the morning of September 8th. I legitimately thought that I had used the bathroom on myself. What in the world is going on? This is not normal. Something's not right. And I started having a small pain in my ribs. And I went downstairs and I got my mom. I woke her up and I literally looked at her and I said, Mom, I just peed on myself.
I look over at her and she's just doubled over in pain. And she just looked at me and she was like, Mama, it really hurts. And so I was like, let's get to the ER.
My mom rushed me to the emergency room. The whole ride to the ER, I was like, Mom, I'm scared. Mom, what if there's something really wrong with me? I was freaking out at that point. When we got there, my mom was yelling at the doctor. She was like, I don't know what's wrong with her. The nurse decides that they need to give me a blood test first. So they took me back in a room. They were taking blood, so I was closing my eyes and I was freaking out because I hate needles. I don't even have my ears pierced because I hate needles so much.
And the nurse said, wait, you think that you peed on yourself? She's like, do you mind if I check you? And Bree was like, what does she mean? And I said, just say yes. Bree says, yeah, whatever you need to do. So she checks her, and it was a moment that will forever be ingrained in my brain.
My mom was standing behind me, so I couldn't see her face, but I was looking dead at that nurse, and that nurse looked at me and said, "You're 8 centimeters dilated." My mouth dropped to the floor.
What? How did this happen? Like, how did we not know this? And so I look at Bree and I'm like, did you know you were pregnant? But just by the look of like sheer terror and shock on her face, I knew that she didn't know. She had no idea. Bree was like, no, I can't be pregnant. There's no way. And I was like, honey, you're having a baby.
This was shocking. They took me back into labor and delivery. I yelled at the doctors and I was like, I need something for my pain. Somebody give me some medicine.
Bree's gone through this whole traumatic experience. And then as a mom, I have to make sure she's okay. So if she wants to squeeze my hand so hard that she's breaking my fingers, then that's okay. I just have to do whatever to make sure she's okay.
I got the epidural shot, and it takes 30 minutes for the epidural to kick in. I started having a lot of pain. I felt everything. There was no point for me to get the epidural because within 5 minutes of me laying back down, she was already all the way out. They put her on me, and I kind of just like, I wouldn't touch her. I kind of just like sat here like this. I was kind of just sitting there staring at her like, what in the world is this thing on me? Like, there's no way I just did that. I wish I would have known, like, because if I would have known, I wouldn't have done this, or I wouldn't have gotten on that tube or like, ridden that horse or whatever. Like, I wouldn't have done the things that I did. Eventually, the doctor came in and told me that she was perfectly okay.
We had a baby, a perfectly healthy little baby girl, which is such a blessing. But Bree would pull her back and she'd just look, and you could see that she was just so confused. Like, she didn't have a clue what just happened. And she looked up at me with the biggest smile on her face, and she said, Mama, I'm a mom. And I said, yes, you are.
What in the world just happened? And I'm still in shock to this day.
The beginning of 2006 in my life was extremely stressful. On top of trying to plan a wedding, my grandma had just passed, and it changed my whole life. She was my best friend. I definitely contemplated several times not even getting married. January and February, I didn't have periods both those months. And both those months, I did take pregnancy tests, and they were, in fact, negative.
I was also on birth control, so I thought I was clear.
I'm in incredible shape.
My wedding is 2 months away.
I started taking care of myself.
Jessica was very serious about getting fit for the wedding.
I have lost 10 pounds, 10 out of the 20 that I wanted to originally lose.
Thankfully, I'm able to stay active because I am
Not experiencing any nausea, no heartburn. I felt no movement, nothing.
I don't know how much she lost because I don't ask women that question, but I know she was losing weight for the wedding and everything.
No matter what I did, I just couldn't lose those last 10 pounds. I didn't think
anything about it since the stressors in my life were hitting me at every end.
So in early October,
my fiance and myself received a call for a motor vehicle accident.
We had a head-on collision with 4 people trapped in one car.
When we got there, I am carrying the jaws of life, inhaling smoke, jumping across the ditch. If I ever speculated for a second that I was pregnant, I would have stopped going to all emergency calls for the entire pregnancy. It is entirely way too dangerous to be inhaling any smoke. I mean, there's just so many risk factors out there that no one should be doing that while pregnant. Sunday morning, November 5th, 2 weeks before my wedding, and I start feeling like complete garbage. I was totally upset, thinking that I was coming down with something, possibly a stomach bug. I don't have any time for this, no time for sickness whatsoever. I'm at church, I start sweating, my stomach is really starting to turn, and I tell my mom that I am just going to head home and relax for the day.
Yeah, at that point, I thought she just was getting the flu because there's so much going on. She's under a lot of stress.
I get home and make it as far as the couch. I am experiencing extreme cramping, constantly running back and forth to the bathroom between vomiting and diarrhea. Probably about 7:30 is the last time that I went to the bathroom, and I immediately scream for Ben. I can see that I have blood loss. I am petrified. I have no clue what is happening, and the only thing I can think of as I'm feeling pressure is it a tumor? My grandma just had cancer. What's going on with me? I look at my fiance and say, we have to go to the hospital. My fiance scoops me up off the floor, throws me in his vehicle, puts on his blue light that we run when we're going to emergency calls, and he flies through the town. He, at this point in time, is completely freaked out and scared himself. I am basically crying the entire way to the emergency room.
Poncho and I were sitting home that night, and he said, I just got a call from the 911 center. Ben was driving very erratic through town, going through red lights, and they're at Jameson Hospital.
That kind of scared me because we didn't know what was going on.
I arrive at the hospital, still never dreaming it could potentially be a baby. As soon as the nurse there examines me, she's touching my stomach, and she says, honey, you're having a contraction. Like, what is this lady talking about? I totally looked at the nurse like she had 3 heads. As I got on the bed, they examined me and established at that point in time that I had already been crowning. I had no clue how far along I was. I was completely by myself and scared. Ben was talking to police because they did see him speeding through town. By the time he was released from police, I was already in delivery and they did not let him in the room. I was by myself, surrounded by all these nurses telling me that I'm in labor without even knowing I was pregnant. I just felt scared and alone.
When we get to the emergency room, they tell me she's in maternity, and I said, no, that's not right. She can't be in maternity. She's not pregnant.
The only thing I can hear is, you're in a contraction right now and we need you to push. Most women have 9 months to prepare to wrap their head around the fact that they're going to be a mom. I literally had 9 seconds. After 3 pushes, a baby is born and there's no crying. It's completely silent. And I look over and all I can see is they're wheeling the bed out of the room. I had no clue if it was a boy, if it was a girl, or if the baby was even okay. I feel like years go by before they bring the baby back in the room. They tell me that everything's okay, she's measuring perfect. They just wanted to get her out of delivery as soon as possible to examine her before introducing the baby to me. She was in fact full term. She had a clear bill of health, 7 pounds, 8 ounces, and 22.5 inches long. I'm in shock when they place her in my arms, just staring at her, can't believing that she's in fact mine. They let my fiance in the room and we kind of looked at one another like, oh, we have to bring her home. I knew that I wanted to name her after my grandma. My grandma's name was Barbara, and Alexis Barbara is her name.
We go up there and we run into Ben, and that's when he tells us it's a girl, and that made no sense at all to me either.
We were dumbfounded because we did not know she was expectant. Of course, we seen her and the baby, and I felt as good as I did the day I seen my daughter.
Just holding her and knowing that she's perfect, what a blessing.
I remember thinking, well, I guess you have someone else that is going to be at the wedding now, right? So we definitely decided to continue with the wedding plans with one extra guest.
Like, I laugh about it now because I could not lose that last 10 pounds to fit into my wedding dress, and Alexis weighed
7 pounds, 8 ounces. It was amazing how after Alexis was born,
my dress fit like a glove that day.
Most people were in complete disbelief when they realized there was a newborn there and that newborn was in fact mine.
If you can get cheek to cheek with your mom just so I can see.
Cheek to cheek.
Yeah. That's it.
Alexis is a almost 17-year-old girl that is full of life. Alexis has changed my life for the good. She truly is a wonderful person.